Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and someone that's given too much money to Hasbro. Do not panic. This is just a random review.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel, and this is not what I planned for today. So I told you that Wild King was going to be the weekend reviews, right? Well, things came up today. I didn't have the chance to actually produce the video I was planning on today, so we're going to bump a few things around. We're going to talk about Wild King, Optimus Prime, and Light Long today, and then we'll save Megatron for some time in the weekend. So a little bit of a shake-up in the schedule this week. Not too big of a deal. Hey, it means you don't have to wait a little bit longer to hear about some of the weirdest toys from Takara in quite a while. So, let us go ahead and discuss. So, here we have Wild King Optimus Prime, one of the Energy Master figures of the line, meaning that it is one of the bigger toys that gets to combine with all of the Energy Beast figures. And what you're getting is, well, let's be honest here. It looks very much like a little kid's line Optimus Prime because, frankly, it is. That's exactly what it is. So, the thing you need to know going into Wild King above all else is that, yes, it is a replacement line for Earthspark, meaning that it is designed to be the little kid's line while the collector's lines are still ongoing parallel to them. That does mean we end up with interesting cases like this, where, yeah, this is obviously not what we normally expect out of Takara, but they needed something to fill the year after a series got canceled completely. But that said, it is at least producing a unique Optimus Prime, even if it is being a little bit cheap looking, because it is. It is, at the very least, not skimping on the paint. That's something nice to see. The hubs are done up in additional pieces of plastic, so that gets the color across without having to paint it. The bright red and the blue is very kid-friendly. The yellow is an interesting call. Optimus traditionally has blue, like a light blue or a black for his windshields. To go with yellow is a little bit different. It gives him just that little bit of difference from your traditional Optimus Primes. I don't terribly mind it. It's just kind of odd. If we look to the back, you can see he has the traditional tropes of a cheaply made Optimus Prime. The feet are still exposed in the vehicle mode. And if we take the axe off, yeah, lots of gaps in the back where, the engineering is not deemed necessary for a little kid's line. As long as it forms into something that looks kind of like a truck, you can just kind of pass everything off as, well, it's just a stylized truck. Which I guess is what they are going for here. Well. So I'm going to be a little bit more brief in my discussion on these toys because we got two to get through. This is a 2-pack of figures. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the transformation. Not that it's that complicated. I'm going to go ahead and fold the legs down to get them out of the way. But before we can get them into the correct position, we're going to need to get the arms out from the sides, which is the traditional style transformation for Optimus Prime. And then unpeg the shoulder from the back and get it into that position. Now, when you twist on these biceps, recall that these two pieces, focus on me, camera. These two pieces are where the connection joint is for the combination gimmick. Meaning, if I just kind of like start twisting it apart, it's going to come apart. So, usually when you are manipulating this arm, go ahead and push up at the elbow to kind of hold everything together, especially because the swivel joint inside the shoulder is actually pretty tight. So it needs a little bit more security if you don't want the parts to fall off. Lock that into position. Go ahead and I'm going to... Whoop. Okay, that had to come off anyway, so that's fine. But we'll lift up this front piece so I can rotate everything around like so. And then I'll just take this gray block in the back and flip it up. Now give Optimus a push on the head just to hear that click. And finally, a little bit of part forming for you, because these pieces now have to store on the back of his feet. I will go ahead and tell you, I don't know what these parts are for, but the fact that they have the same 2-piece connection port as everything else in the combination gimmick tells me it's for some combination I'm not capable of yet. So it's definitely there for a reason. What that reason is, we will find out at a later date. But for now, that is the transformation to the robot mode. And yeah, like it's a cheap kids line, so very simplistic, but it does feel very, very familiar. If anything, it feels a lot like the Legends class Optimus Prime they last did, or the Core class even. Like, it does have a familiarity to it. So we're going to go with that. And yeah, just kind of remember, not a collector's line. Just fun gimmickry. The Optimus it produces actually does strike an interesting and different silhouette. The shoulders and the legs are a lot thicker and bigger than we're used to out of Optimus Prime, so it does hit something of a unique shape. I will give it that. And it doesn't look bad in and of itself. He does look a little bit swollen, but that is because of the combination system. Similar to Energon Optimus Prime, they need to leave room in his mass to actually look okay when he is in his full 4 energy beast combination. Or 5. We now found out 5 is a thing. But the toy itself, yeah. I will give it this. Very clean. You know, nothing really left over except for the front grill that's just kind of hanging off his butt, doing nobody any harm. I still need to get a mat for this glass countertop. You guys keep warning me about that. Okay. I'll leave the goof in because screw it. I'm okay with this. Knowing what I was getting into, knowing what it was going to be, helps a lot. Articulation-wise, we do have a ball joint in the neck, so you do have full range on that. Swivel here at the shoulder, outward motion, so you do have a universal joint there. The bicep is 360-degree rotation. The waist, well, not really the waist, but, you know, up at the torso, it does rotate if you want to use that. Universal hip joint, bend at the knee, and that's pretty much it for the articulation. Extremely standard stuff. And yes, you're going to see hollowing. There's your hollow forearms for you. So yeah, keep that in mind. It is what it is. And yeah, I'm going to go down here and pick up my shame. I'll go ahead and plug the axe into his hand so you can see what he looks like with his weapon. Now, the thing to remember about these is that the hands do have 5mm ports to them. However, the weapons also have an added tab, which means this is not going to fit in the hand of a standard Transformer. So keep that in mind if you want this weapon on some other toy for a custom or just for a goofy little fun mess around idea. You can't do it. Haha. And then also, I don't remember where this thing goes once you are in this mode. I think it just kind of, yeah, pegs onto the back of the axe like so. Okay, so that's pretty much the base figure. We knew it was simple because it is a gimmick toy. And the gimmick revolves around this little guy, which will require reframing. Now let me introduce you to the first original character for Transformers Wild King, Lightlong, our first energy beast, and the second giraffe transformer we have ever gotten. This one, however, being quite a bit smaller, whereas Optimus I would call a bulky Voyager. This thing kind of fits along like the old school Scout class toys. Like if you go back to like the Energon Cybertron days, it kind of fits into that size scheme. It's a weird size to actually explain, but the point being is he is considerably smaller than I originally expected. But, you know, it is what it is. So, done up in a pale yellow plastic with brown for the body and gray for all the connective parts of the toy. Not a whole lot of deco to talk about. A little bit of silver there on the upper leg, and then, of course, the energy shield, which is the electric on this one, is completely painted over in gold paint, so you do have that. Now, playability-wise, it is kind of just a standing giraffe. The head does move up and down, and you do get some turn at the neck, but that's pretty much all you are going to get. Yes, there are joints in the legs, but that doesn't make for a good giraffe pose. And everything back here is kind of tabbed together because that's how the beasts all hold together. So to give you, if you did not watch my rundown of everything you need to know about Wild King before you buy it, all of the energy beasts use the same base body style. So, and a lot of them use the same parts, no less. So they're all going to transform in a very similar way, which means we don't have to spend too much time talking about them every single time. And they're going to be part formery. So we're going to go ahead and remove the tail. Going to remove the shield. Going to remove the head. We're going to remove everything that made it the animal that it was. So go ahead and rotate the legs like so. Split the arms and bring this down. Rotate it around, and that's going to be the front. Rotate at the bicep and bring those up to make the arms. Rotate there at the torso joint. Go ahead and separate the legs, and now open that up. Flip the head out. Close it up. And we can finish it off by re-adding this. Now, the head also has to go back on. You'll see here the hinge, the double peg, which is offset so you can attach it to different spots, which is kind of neat. Also is hinged, meaning I can flip it down to be a single peg, and we'll go ahead and plug that in to the arm. And just so the giraffe head is facing outward, I'm going to go ahead and rotate the neck, and that's going to be light long in the robot mode. Now, yeah, a lot of what makes this character the character are the few unique parts that it has compared to other energy beasts, and a lot of it's going to be part for me, because this whole line is kind of part for me for what it does. You can see new detail. Go in close. I will try to give you a shot of the head if the camera's focus will allow. Pretty good there. Okay. So yeah, it does have like a vaguely long rack look to it, just in the fact that it's a tall head, but it definitely does have its own unique style to it. The brown cutting through the helmet looks good. I like the tall mohawk to it. Bright blue eyes and everything too. Yeah, pretty good look here. You can see the silver decoed a little bit better there in the thigh. If my camera will hold focus. You can also see it to paint up the fists and the biceps. So yeah, it's not a whole lot of deco, but it's enough to get details across, and it's not a bad design overall. Now, if I want articulation, nothing in the head. Shoulders do that weird thing where it's a hinge at the in the body and then just a forward rotation. Full rotation there above the elbow and then close to 90-degree bend. Waist joint works. Ball joints in the hips. Knees have a good bend. There is a thigh swivel that is very tight. So despite the small size, they have a decent little level of articulation as well. Also on this one, I'm going to point out, he's got that sticking out. So I am imagining you can either like imagine a sniper rifle out of the giraffe head, or that is just a lightning rod. Whichever you choose it to be. Either way, simple little guy. Not a whole lot to really discuss here. I do like the overall look and the colors to him. Oh, also, the giraffe tail and butt are going to become, there we go, a pickaxe. So, joining very rarefied air of Transformer characters who use pickaxes for weapons and are completely ready for Fortnite to make the phone call. Yeah, it's an interesting look. I think the downside to this particular beast happens to be those legs sticking off the front of his fists, which I wanted to say the sculpting inside kind of made it seem like these were guns that hung off of the arm, but they don't really lend itself to that. It just kind of looks like there's some kind of weird bone sticking out of it. It doesn't have like a gun barrel thing to it, but it's your toy, so it's going to be up to your imagination what it is. But that said, let's see. I need to actually get to the point of this toy line, don't I? Alright, I'm going to take that piece off. We're going to take off the energy shield and the pickaxe. Now, Prime, I'm going to need you. Give me a second. Alright, let's do this. So, go ahead and fold the head back in like that. Reconnect the biceps at the top like so. We're going to let these dangle for just a bit. Go ahead and reconnect the thighs and the knees. Fold everything up. Now, this is going to change a little bit on a beast-to-beast basis. However, you're going to spot these little grooves in his feet and link them to these tabs here on his back. And that's going to inform you where this is going to go for the arm mode. These we'll deal with here in a minute. For now, I'm going to go ahead and leave them in the default Takara approved position. Alright, Optimus, I'm going to need your arm for a second. Those same two pegs are now going to connect into Prime's arm like that. I'm going to go flip down the chest, revealing something that looks like a Matrix Annex. I'll give you a close-up of that before we cover it up. Yeah, it's vaguely Matrix in design, but it is designed to hold onto these energy shields, which we'll go ahead and plug the electric energy into its correct spot. And as long as we're here, we'll go ahead and upgrade his helmet. And then you take the head here, make sure the two pegs are flipped out so it can connect onto the shoulder like so. And that's going to be your new, I guess, electric or lightning mode Optimus Prime. I know all of these have some kind of weird form names, but this is just to kind of convey what you're going for in this. So pretty much all the energy beasts work the same as G1 scramble combiners, where they have to be an arm and a leg. So you're going to come up to a lot of familiarity. They're going to feel a little bit similar to each other as you get more. But it does lend to a fairly versatile play pattern. So this isn't bad. Like, I like the sculpt detail that they've got going on here. You can see the thumb sculpted in, and all of them kind of have that little illusion going on to just look like a big fist attached to the robot. It's a neat and subtle little detail that I really do appreciate. Now, if I want this to look a little bit better, we can take advantage of the hinges here. I like having that giraffe head going out as far as possible. I like to give these legs a little bit of a twist and bring them up like this, and then just push them flush against the shoulder. Now, that does eliminate the limited amount of articulation it has, because it can swivel here at the bicep, but it can also swivel at the wrist if you undo the tabs here. So you can get a little bit of articulation out of it, but very, very little. But that's really not the effect that they go for. They just kind of want the big pounding fist, which is perfectly okay. Yeah. Just like that. That is your Optimus Prime with his new upgrade. Yes, who wants to make the Cybertron reference, the Leo Breaker reference? You are more than welcome to do so. You can still mount weapons in his hand, like they have the point to hold actual weapons, and now he can go double melee. There. Here, he's right-handed, so like we'll use the left hand just as like his non-dominant attack. There you go. Oh, and you might wonder, hey, I've got this extra forearm lying around. What do I do with this? Well, simply go into the back of him. You're going to pop open one of his legs, like so. And then you're going to just plug it in, like that. Then close it back up. It will tab in. And there you have your spare piece stored away, which is a very, very nice, thoughtful touch by Takara. But that is what you are getting in the combo box for Lightlong and Optimus Prime. Just enough to start the play pattern and just kind of familiarize yourself with it before they start throwing more energy beasts at you. So that said, I do have more energy beasts on the way. So once those arrive and I can have a full set of 4 to like fully combine an Optimus or a Megatron, we'll get into things like the leg transformations, which pretty much work the exact same way. But this is just to give you an idea. This is what you're supposed to do and can do with the set as is. So I'm going to leave it here for today. Yeah, importing this out of Japan ain't cheap, but it's going to be one of those lines where the more you get, the more fun they are to mess with, the more you've got to play around with. It might end up being a really rewarding line. We're just going to have to wait and see. And you're going to have to let reviewers like me take the bullet so you can decide whether for yourself if a little kid's gimmick line of Transformers from overseas is really worth your time and money. But that's what I'm here for. So, that is Wild King, our first of 2 reviews this week for it. Stay tuned. Saturday or Sunday we'll be doing Megatron and Captain Volca. So we'll be doing this again to show you the differences. But thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.